I think if you're living in a closed room without a window, well, you might as well be blind. So you need a window just to let the sun in.
Ruskin Bond is a renowned author who lives among the mountains in Uttarakhand. Born in Kasauli, Himachal Pradesh, he grew up in Jamnagar, Gujarat, Dehradun and Shimla. He wrote his first book, The Room on the Roof, in 1956. Since then, he has authored more than 500 short stories, essays and novels with 70 plus books for children. He was awarded the Sahitya Akademi Award in 1992, the Padma Shri in 1999 and Padma Bhushan in 2014. In an interaction for the Forest of Life Festival, Ruskin talks about nature writing and his own journey as a writer. Let's watch it.
So how can it be included into children? How can children be taught about all these topics?
It's best that they, very good that they get an interest in nature writing and write about nature. And they will, since climate change is often something very dramatic, they'll be aware of it anyway, from watching television or reading the papers, or the apps. So it's there for all to see, and it's hard again for an individual to do much about it. As an individual, we can try to save our trees and our birds and our animals, but how does an individual what can we do about the climate? It's something that has to that only maybe governments can undertake, and so we have to try and influence governments, which is not an easy thing.
I think so. Through children, we can do a lot more of that because they're the citizens of the future.
Yes, right. True. Yes, they can be more vocal about it. Because it's not a political issue. No, it's a human issue, isn't it, of humanity.
And you've said that once you have lived with the mountains, there is no escape.
That's true.
You are in love with the mountains.
Well, I think it gets into your system or into your blood. Sometimes I go away thinking, it's going to be a very cold winter. I'll go and spend a month somewhere else. Maybe go to Odisha or somewhere. And after I've been away a week or two, I'm anxious to get back. Partly because my work is here. Your books, your papers, your writing, and you sort of feel lost without it. But also because you're just used to the mountains, or being living at a certain level, and it's nice to look maybe out of the window and you see the valley stretching out before you and the horizon, and you don't feel claustrophobic then.
Yes. So one of the things is that I was coming to that only, the importance of a window. And
right.
We have always spoken that windows have been for you, the way when you were in London.
Yes. Window is all important, certainly for a writer, but I think for anybody. I think if you're living in a closed room without a window, well, you might as well be blind. Because here I'm lucky. Well, I have a bedroom window and I can see the mountains, the sky, the clouds, the valley, even the footpath below, people coming and going, birds, dogs, cats. But you could be in a city and still and have a window. It might look out on somebody's backyard or a slum, or it might not have an inspiring view, but still you would still be connected in a way to the rest of the world outside. You would see life moving around you, or even you won't see the sort of wildlife that you have in the hills, but you would see you would probably see lizards and maybe small creatures and squirrels and miners and crows, and even if you would, if there was a blank wall outside, you would see something growing on it. So you need a window just to let the sun in. So when I get up in the morning, I know this at roughly now at 6 o'clock. I'm looking. My window looks out to the eastern sky. So the sky is scarlet. It's crimson, and then it gradually that crimson goes, and the daylight starts spreading, but not yet the sun. And then at about 7:30, the sun comes up, and it actually invades my room. It thrusts itself in, comes over my bed, my desks, everything, and I feel it's like a new life beginning. Everyone, yes. People admire the sunset, but the sunrise is more important.
And you have also spoken about the need of writing a journal and maintaining a journal.
Yes, I do.
So you do that since?
I do it not every day, because sometimes there's not much to write about. But I say 2 or 3 days a week I'll put down anything interesting that's happened or that I've observed, even if it's something about the family or something about world events, even just my thoughts on it.
And in this one place, because of your fascination for Dickens, you had said you wanted to build a home named Great Expectation.
A lot of the old houses in Missouri, back in the early days, were named after the titles of Walter Scott novels. No, his novels had names like Waverley, Rokeby, At the Abbey, and so on. They were the names of places. So these early settlers who stayed here would use those names. So I said, I felt sorry for Dickens. I said, because Dickens didn't use the names of houses or places. So I said, but I thought, so well, if I ever had a house of mine, well, at least I could call it Great Expectations. The only novel of his that could give its name to a house was Bleak House, which is not a very jolly name.
You have said you wanted to build a big garden, but I think so.
I've always been living in all my life either in houses or flats, but it's very little space. So anyway, Beena's got a garden on the roof, and I managed to grow geraniums on the sunroom. But otherwise, living in Delhi, London, cities, towns, I just had a room sometimes, before I came here. Now a family has grown around me. But for many years I lived alone, and then I just didn't need more than a room to my own. The room on the roof, that was the first one.
You said you followed the footsteps of Thoreau, Richard Jefferies and H.E. Bates.
Thoreau, yes. And Richard Jefferies, yes. Only yesterday I was, when I was writing my journal, I was thinking of books which showed or revealed the author's love for a certain place. And so very often it would be the countryside or a forest or mountains or streams. And when I thought of H.E. Bates's stories set in the English countryside, or of even say, I remember a novel by Ruma Gordon, The River, which was set in the Bengal countryside. It was later filmed by Jean Reno. Or Richard Jefferies, The Story of My Heart, in which he pours out his passion for nature, actually. And Walden again, Thoreau, where he goes and lives in the wild. So I was just, making a list of books that which not just these writers, but even say Conrad. Now, not in all his novels, but in particular one, Youth, where he shows his love for the sense of adventure of a young man growing up and wanting to, travel and see the world, and his first voyage, which he describes with a lot of love. So I was trying to say where, not necessarily a classic or a great novel, but where the author, even not so well known an author, might want to show his love for a place or people or a happening even,
Yes, sir. Now then Gerard Durrell for that.
Yeah, right, with his animal. That's right. Yes, that is true. His love for animals and word comes true.
What message would you give to writers who want to follow your footsteps, sir?
Well, I think start writing. I've always written by hand, and that's a natural way of writing too. Because I think there's something sensual about putting pen to paper, but write in any way that suits you. I think you need. Sometimes some stories just happen. Some you might think about and plot and plan, and others might just happen. Perhaps like The Blue Umbrella or Angry River. I just started writing and they happened. So, I think you need to get some pleasure, not just in your theme or your subject, but in words, putting words together, making beautiful sentences. And because if you want to express your love for nature and describe it in words that will enchant your reader, then you've got to make an effort to use words sometimes in a different way, or to be original, and not over descriptive, but just catch the moment. Nature can bring you a lot of happiness, just walking in the woods, being with trees, flowers, mountains, clouds, streams. You'll never be bored. And read about it too. And because if you're living in towns and cities, you can't just easily, go out and be in the natural world. But it will come to you sometimes too, in the form of birds or small creatures or gardens and plants. So be aware of all these things, and you'll find that it will basically help you to be a happy person and a well-adjusted person. Good luck. Thank you. Stay happy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time.